The brisk autumn evening was alive with anticipation, the sort that heralds the arrival of a tempest, or, in my case, the defining act of my career. There I stood, on the brink of either infamy or acclaim, poised to dispel the layers of myth that enshrouded the infamous haunted house of death within the Carnival's enigmatic embrace. With a camera strapped securely to my chest, ready to broadcast every moment of my audacious venture, I stepped over the threshold and into the mansion. It was an intricate blend of Victorian splendor intertwined with an air of foreboding secrecy. The first few rooms unfolded before me like the pages of an open book, each scare more predictable than the last, each terror easily unraveled by someone as seasoned in skepticism as myself. My laughter echoed through the ancient corridors, a testament to my disbelief, reassuring my viewers that fear was nothing more than a state of mind, easily conquered. Yet, as I ventured deeper, the mansion seemed to shed its facade of harmless thrills, transforming into something altogether more sinister. The light dimmed as if swallowed by the shadows, the air turned cold, biting at my skin, and a feeling emerged, a sense that I was not alone, that eyes unseen were tracking my every move. I laughed off the creeping dread, attributing it to the house's theatrical ambiance, yet a seed of unease was planted. My bravado led me to a secluded chapel, a hidden relic within the mansion's heart, untouched by the Carnival's garish touch. Here, amid the whispered prayers of ages past, I encountered an ancient tome, its cover worn by time, its pages filled with arcane symbols and dark rites. It was an artifact out of place, whispering of secrets long buried. Seizing it, I scorned the silent watchfulness of the chapel, declaring my act the pinnacle of my challenge to the house's supposed curse. The moment the book's cover snapped shut under my fingers, the chapel retaliated with a vehemence that defied earthly explanation. Doors that had stood ajar slammed shut with the finality of a tomb ceiling. Candles burst into furious life as though kindled by some spectral flame, and the very shadows around me writhed with an animosity that chilled the soul. My flight, desperate and frenetic, was captured in disjointed frames by my camera, a futile struggle against a house awakened to my intrusion. As dawn's early light washed over the town, it illuminated the haunted house of death, standing silent and imposing as if mocking the night's events. The camera, Elijah's silent witness to the unseen horrors, was found on the chapel's threshold by the early morning carnival workers, its lens staring blankly as though it had glimpsed the abyss. The footage, once thought to be Elijah's ticket to fame, became a digital epitaph. Among the recovered files, one particular video stood out, not for what it showed, but for what it implied. The video, time-stamped to Elijah's final moments of terror, was corrupted beyond recognition, save for a series of disjointed frames. Within these frames, a symbol appeared, cryptic and unnerving, pulsing with an otherworldly glow before the screen succumbed to static. Word of Elijah's disappearance spread quickly, his name whispered among townsfolk and carnival-goers alike with a mix of fear and fascination. The police, upon reviewing the footage, noted the strange symbol but were left with more questions than answers. It became a piece of the puzzle, a clue to the deeper mystery that enveloped the carnival and its most infamous attraction. The carnival, meanwhile, continued its operation as if nothing had occurred, its lights blinking against the twilight, inviting yet another night of laughter and screams. The carnival's glow beckoned irresistibly, its myriad lights casting a spell over the sleepy town. Among its many mysteries, none called to me quite like the enigmatic allure of the haunted house of death. With a mix of trepidation and boldness stirring in my heart, I stood at its foreboding threshold, a defiant grin upon my face. "Let's strip away the veil from these ghostly fables," I silently vowed. My phone poised to document each step of my audacious quest. This adventure, I was certain, would catapult me into the viral stratosphere, my courage shining as a beacon against the shadows of superstition. As the ancient door groaned shut behind me, I launched into a dramatic narration, my voice dancing through the stale air of the mansion. The initial attempts to frighten were laughably elementary, and I made no effort to conceal my amusement from my audience. "So, this is the sum of their terror," I mocked, my words laced with scorn as I ventured deeper into the mansion's heart. Yet, as I pressed on, the mansion seemed to shed its playful facade. A profound silence descended, thick and suffocating, challenging my bravado. "Merely more theatrics," I whispered, more to reassure myself than to critique, for a seed of doubt had begun to sprout within me. It was within the mansion's neglected library that my folly found its reckoning. Amidst the decay, a singular painting commanded my attention, portraying the mansion bathed in a ghostly luminescence, its windows alight with an ominous sentience. Compelled by a rash impulse, I taunted the image, my fingers defiling its surface. "A mere painting guards this place?" I sneered, blind to the consequences my irreverence would invite. The instant my skin made contact with the painting, reality unraveled. A maelstrom of chaos erupted, books tearing from their shelves as if cast by tempestuous spirits, the temperature plummeting to unearthly cold. My phone, the vessel of my connection to the world beyond, succumbed to the malevolence that had awakened, its display fracturing as though it bore the weight of the house's anger. Blind panic seized me as I groped through the darkness, the assurance that had emboldened my entrance now shattered beneath the undeniable fury that had been roused. My pleas for salvation, desperate and raw, were devoured by the library's voracious silence, leaving me ensnared in a nightmare of my own making. As the dawn's light began to dispel the shadows of the night, the Carnival's haunted house of death stood ominously quiet, its secrets locked behind the ancient facade. At its entrance, discarded and seemingly forgotten, lay Maya Thompson's phone. Its screen, cracked and flickering, offered no answers, only silent testimony to the terror that unfolded within. The video, intended to debunk myths and garner fame, transformed into a haunting record of Maya's final moments. Amidst the fragmented footage, a curious anomaly persisted. A cryptic symbol, briefly illuminated by the camera's dying light before succumbing to a sea of static. News of Maya's disappearance quickly enveloped the town, weaving her story into the fabric of the growing local legend that surrounded the carnival. Whispers of her name echoed alongside Elijah's, each tale a chilling reminder of the mansion's unyielding mystery. The local police, tasked with untangling the threads of these unexplained vanishings, found themselves confounded. The carnival's arrival was always an event that brought the town to life. Yet amidst the laughter and the thrill of the rides, there was one attraction that cast a long shadow over the festivities: the haunted House of Death. Unlike most, my fascination wasn't born of curiosity or a desire for adrenaline. No. I was drawn to the mansion by whispers of hidden treasures, artifacts left untouched within its cursed walls. Greed, not fear, spurred me forward, avarice guiding my steps to the doorstep of doom. With a crowbar concealed beneath my jacket, I ventured into the carnival under the cloak of night. The house stood before me, a silent sentinel in the moonlight, its reputation a challenge to my ambition. "Fortunes are made by those who dare," I muttered to myself, stepping into the maw of the mansion with the confidence of a man blinded by desire. The interior was a shroud of dust and decay, each room a testament to the house's grim history. I scoffed at the idea of ghosts and curses, my thoughts consumed by visions of gold and ancient relics. My flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing the faded grandeur of the mansion and, I hoped, the secrets it harbored. It was in the depths of the house, far from the prying eyes of the carnival crowd, that I found it. A room untouched by time, its contents veiled in shadow. At its center, an ornate chest whispered promises of untold wealth. With heart racing, I approached, the crowbar in my hands a key to my future fortunes. As I pried open the chest, a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing my flashlight and plunging me into darkness. Panic took root as the air grew thick, a tangible sense of dread enveloping me. The sound of the crowbar clattering to the ground was swallowed by the mansion's hunger. I stumbled blindly, my dreams of wealth eclipsed by the realization of my folly. The mansion, a predator to my prey, played host to a hunt of its own design. Shadows moved with malevolent intent, and whispers filled the air, recounting tales of greed and punishment. As dawn stretched its fingers over the carnival, dispelling the shadows of the night, an eerie calm settled around the haunted house of death. It stood there, a silent guardian of the secrets and stories within its walls. At its entrance, a seemingly innocuous object lay forgotten. Connor Wells's flashlight, its beam lifeless, an unspoken testament to the previous night's horrors. The discovery of the flashlight by the morning crew, coated in the fine dust of neglect and tinged with the scent of old fears, prompted uneasy murmurs among the workers. It was a tangible piece of the puzzle, out of place and yet eerily at home at the threshold of the mansion. Later that day, a missing persons report was filed. The name Connor Wells adding a new layer of mystery to the Carnival's dark allure. The flashlight, found at the mansion's entrance, became a crucial link in the investigation, its presence there inexplicable yet undeniably tied to Connor's disappearance. Among Connor's personal effects returned to his family was a note, scribbled on the back of a receipt. A clue perhaps overlooked in its mundanity. It mentioned a meeting at the carnival, a hint of excitement about uncovering something valuable. This note, when paired with the location of the flashlight, painted a chilling narrative of ambition and mystery, drawing a direct line from Connor to the haunted mansion. The police, already puzzled by the disappearances tied to the carnival, took note of the flashlight and the note. It was a connection that couldn't be ignored, a piece of evidence that whispered of untold stories lurking in the shadows of the haunted house of death. As the carnival lights flickered on, casting their glow upon faces alight with thrill and laughter, the mansion stood apart, a monument to the vanished. Connor's story, now interwoven with the fabric of the carnival's legacy. The carnival's embrace had always been a sanctuary for my creative spirit, a place where the vibrant chaos of lights and laughter met the shadowed whispers of mystery. Tonight, it promised more. It promised immortality. I was armed with my palette and brushes, intended to claim that promise. The haunted house of death, with its tales of horror and heartbreak, was my canvas, a place where I would leave a mark that would outlive the transient thrills of the carnival itself. As I stepped into the mansion, a silent vow hung in the air between the faded grandeur and my determination. This mural will be my legacy, I whispered to the shadows, feeling the weight of previous tragedies. The disappearances, the eerie symbols, the unexplained silence that followed each victim, lending urgency to my work. The night wore on, my brushes dancing over the canvas of walls, telling a story of beauty and darkness intertwined. But as the mansion's whispered histories wound themselves around me, the air shifted, becoming a tangible presence filled with sorrow and rage. It seemed the house itself was responding, not just to my art, but to the defiance of all those who had dared its depths before me. The chill of realization crept up my spine as the final stroke left my brush. A realization that this performance was not mine alone. The spirits of the house, stirred by the echoes of those who had vanished within its embrace, were closing in, their whispers now screams in the encroaching darkness. Dawn's light had never been so unwelcome, tearing me from the few hours of peace sleep offered. My badge and a gun are my constant companions in a town where shadows clung a little too closely. The call came in, terse and ominous. Another incident at the carnival, this one with a name I recognized. Sienna Blake. The scene that awaited was shocking. Sienna, lifeless amidst her unfinished masterpiece. The colors of her palette, bleeding into the gray of death. The mural screamed in silence, a chilling legacy that spoke of beauty and terror intertwined. Clutched in her hand, a faded carnival ticket, a clue, or perhaps a taunt. I vowed to bring an end to the carnival's reign of shadowed whispers. The loss of Elijah, Harper, Connor, and now Sienna could not go unanswered. As I pieced together the evidence, the urgency to act grew. I rallied my colleagues, determined to confront the carnival's operators and expose the truth hidden within the haunted house of death. The night air was almost electric as I stood before my team outside the precinct. The carnival, with its brilliance of lights and laughter masking a deeper darkness, had claimed too many. Sienna's last mural, a grim testament to the carnival's twisted allure, was the final straw. Tonight, we would end it, dismantle the facade, and expose the rot within. "All right, team," I began, my voice steady despite the tumultuous storm of emotions within. "We've got one shot at this. The carnival has been a step ahead of us for too long. Tonight, that changes. We shut it down, for Sienna, for Lucas, and for every lost soul that place has claimed." The plan was simple. Half the team would approach from the main entrance, cutting off any attempt at escape, while the rest would flank the sides, securing the perimeter. We expected resistance, a confrontation with whatever or whoever was behind the disappearances. What we found, however, was far more disconcerting. As we approached the site where the carnival had stood just hours before, a chilling sight awaited us. The land was barren, an empty field bathed in the cold light of the moon. The carnival, the haunted house of death, the lights, the laughter, all of it had vanished without a trace. Disbelief and confusion ran through the ranks like a cold wave. "It was here," I muttered, my mind racing through the possibilities. Had we been deceived? Was it all just an elaborate ruse? But the victims, the stories, Sienna's mural, they were all too real, too tangible for it to have been just smoke and mirrors. We combed the area, searching for any clue, any sign that the carnival had existed, but found nothing. It was as if the earth itself had swallowed it whole, leaving behind only the memories of those it had taken and the unanswered questions that now haunted us. The ride back to the precinct was somber, each of us lost in our thoughts, grappling with the night's surreal turn of events. As I sat there, staring into the darkness, I couldn't shake the feeling that we had been outplayed, that the carnival, with all its secrets, was mocking us from beyond the veil. In the days that followed, the investigation continued. But without the carnival, without a tangible lead, we were chasing shadows. The town was left with a void, a sense of unease that lingered in the air like a specter. The disappearances remained unsolved, the fates of Sienna, Lucas, and the others forever shrouded in mystery. I was left with a haunting certainty that some mysteries are better left unexplored, and that some doors, once opened, can never be closed.